Most people waste their first week when it comes to losing weight, doing the wrong things. Here's exactly what I would tell every single client that comes through Potentia. Hi, I'm Charlie and I'm the co-founder of Potentia Coaching, and over the past 3 years, we've helped transform over 500 people's lives. If you're looking for help with your weight loss, there'll be a link in the caption below. The first thing is going to be, do not change everything at once. One of the most common things that anyone can do is when they're trying to make a change in their life is try and change every single thing at once. So that could be trying to get up at 5 a.m, prepping all your meals, getting 10,000 steps in, going to the gym, doing cardio, and it's just a big list that can start to stack up and feel really overwhelming. So what I want you to do is focus on one thing first, and then once you've perfected that, focus on the next thing. Now with that, you want to use this first week of your weight loss journey as try and build the habits that will stick throughout the journey. So could that be a nice easy one of making sure protein is the first thing you choose throughout your meal? Could it be tracking the foods that you have, which will probably be the most important thing to see if you're in that calorie deficit? Could it be in the evening you want to go out for a walk? Like, focus on the one habit that you think will compound and you'll be able to keep from week 1 to week 10 to week 20, however long your weight loss journey takes you. The big thing that I'd look at is what's the biggest needle mover, and that's your nutrition. So I would focus within the first few days, making sure you're tracking everything. Once you've spent a few days doing that, then I'd add something else into the plan to maintain that. In that first week, you nail the basics, and once them basics are nailed, you'll be able to consistently lose weight. You'll be able to turn them basics into habits, into systems that stick, even when you're tired, even when you're low motivated, even when you're ill. All of these things, if you get the system in place and you learn it very, very quickly at the start, and it's maintainable, sustainable, you will continue to lose weight throughout all of them issues that might pop up. The first thing that I want you to do is weigh yourself every single morning. First thing in the morning, little to no clothing as possible, try not to eat or drink. Get this consistently done, because your scales are going to fluctuate for so many reasons. Hormones, meals, if you go to the toilet regularly, amount of water you have, amount of salt you have, amount of carbs you have. Like, there's loads of different factors that are going to impact your scales. So if you can step on the scales every single day, you eventually start to get a little bit more numb to the fluctuations as well. But you can look at your weekly average and see how that is progressing every single week, rather than looking at it as like, my scale weight was this today, but it jumped up to here tomorrow, and then it gone up again, but then it's dropped down. Take your 7 daily weigh-ins across the week, divide it by 7, that is your average. Track the average every single week, how that is going down, rather than the day-to-day. The next thing is take your progress photos. Don't wait until you're ready, because the first photos you ever take, you're never going to be ready. You are probably going to hate the way you look. Every single person that's come through Potentia has said, oh, I hated doing them photos. But as they get further in and they're taking more photos and they're seeing the changes, they're getting even more motivated. But you can also use it to look back at how things have gone and say, wow, I'm really proud of that. Or, wow, I can't believe I've changed that much, because you might not notice it as much. You see yourself every single day. It's a little bit harder to see the changes. And the final thing to do your baseline is, before you start your calorie deficit, just track the foods that you have in day to day. Don't try and change anything. Just have a normal day of eating. You'll be surprised of how much extra calories you are actually eating. One of the big things I've seen many, many times is, I can't lose weight and I don't eat much. But they're having a lot of the wrong foods, and it's more the calories, it's not the quantity of food that you're having. So track that, have a look at what food you're having, the calories and things, and you'll be surprised at how much you're overeating without actually thinking about it. Then, I don't expect you to throw yourself straight in the deep end and go to the gym or do home workouts. All you've got to do is look at the easiest thing to increase the calorie expenditure, and it's free, is just increase your movement. So if you've got a smartwatch, if you've got your phone, it's a little bit harder with your phone, but you can look at your steps, take the average. So let's say you average 7,000 steps a day. Just go and stick 2,000 to 3,000 steps on top of that, and that is your new baseline to aim towards. Just with that increased movement, it's going to increase the calorie expenditure, which will then, let's say you're at a maintenance, put you in a deficit because you're burning more calories than you consume, and that is how you lose weight. So you've got your BMR, which is 70%. Then you've got your NEAT, which is 15%, and that's non-exercise activity thermogenesis. That's the big one that we're going to look at. You have two other sections, which is the thermic effect of food and then exercise activity thermogenesis. Now, the big one that I was going to look at is your NEAT. Now, this is anything outside of exercise, and it takes up 15% of your calorie expenditure. That's what steps fall into. Whereas training, exercise only equates to 5%. So, what I would rather you do is focus on something that's free, something that's easy, something that's low intense, doesn't take much thinking to do, and push that a little bit more to start with. Build that into the routine before trying to push yourself to the gym, because you'll lose weight quicker that way than going to the gym. And the final thing is manage your expectations. In the first couple of weeks, you might see the scales go down quite quickly. The main reason for that is you're not just losing body fat, you'll be losing glycogen, you'll be losing water, because you're eating less carbs, so you're going to be holding on to less water, which if you have that, less of that in you, it's got to go somewhere and the scales will start to go down. So to repeat that, you will lose weight quickly in the first couple of weeks because you have less glycogen and you have less water. Glycogen comes from carbs. Carbs hold on to 3 to 4 grams of water per gram of carbs. As you go into a deficit, more than likely you've cut the amount of carbs that you've had, which means you're going to be holding on to less glycogen and you're going to be holding on to less water. What will happen with that? The scales will go down quite quickly. They will level out eventually after a couple of weeks, after the first initial water retention loss has gone, and then you'll start to see the actual rate of progress in terms of body fat loss. Once you understand this, it gets so much easier, because I've always had it where week 3 and 4, people are panicking. My scales aren't going down as quick as they were. And explaining this situation, explaining what happens, helps them to understand that not only can you lose weight quickly at the start, but you're losing water retention as well, but also it helps them learn that some days when they have more carbs, them scales will jump up because they are holding on to more water, holding on to more glycogen. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, make sure you subscribe. I'm posting 2 weight loss videos a week to help you with your journey.